Hello guys, what's up? So friends, today I am going to discuss about the water pollution, marine pollution and also the impacts of toxic chemicals on aquatic ecosystem. So first of all, we can discuss about what is mean by the water pollution. Water pollution is the addition or the presence of undesirable substance in water such as organic waste, inorganic waste, biological, radiological, heat, etc., which degrades the quality of water so that it becomes unfit for use. There are both natural resources and anthropogenic resources are there for water pollution. And mainly the natural source of pollution of water include soil erosion, leaching of minerals from a rock, and decaying of organic matter, etc. And other types of sources include point sources and non-point sources. The point sources means the discharge of pollutants or chemicals or toxic substance from the industries directly into the soil or the field. Then the non-point sources means the fertilizer or pesticides from through the to the agricultural fields. Okay, so that is contaminating the water. So when pollutants are discharged from a specific location such as a drain pipe carrying industrial effluents discharged directly into a water body, it represents point source pollution. In contrast, the non-point sources include a discharge of pollutants from diffused sources or from a larger area such as runoff from agricultural fields, grazing lands, construction sites, abandoned mines and pits, etc. So some of the causes of water pollution are there: sewage water, then industrial waste, agricultural sources, thermal and radiation pollution. So that is another type of pollution. So here we also discuss the marine pollution also. Okay. So the toxic pollutants are directly or indirectly discharged into the aquatic ecosystems without the removal of harmful compounds. The aquatic pollution directly leads to suffering of organisms and vegetation that survive in water, including amphibians. The main source of aquatic pollution include industrial waste, mining activities, sewage and wastewater, marine dumping, burning of fossil fuels, accidental oil leakage, global warming, atmospheric deposition, urban development, etc. And major sources include domestic sewage, agricultural waste, solid waste, industrial waste, thermal pollution, radioactive waste, sediments, acidrain, detergents, and organic compounds. So, the domestic sewage is the first source of water pollution. The domestic water pollution is mainly caused by the sewage. Sewage is defined as the waterborne waste derived from home, animal, or food processing plants and includes human excreta, soap, organic materials, different types of solids, oil, detergent, paper, and cloth. And the impacts of domestic sewage include depletion of oxygen content, eutrophication, spread of infection, diseases, etc. Then the agricultural waste, the toxins released from agricultural waste include fertilizers, pesticides, soil additives, and animal wastes that are washed off from the land to the aquatic system through irrigation, rainfall, and leaching. In both fresh and marine systems, they enter the food chain, accumulate in non-target organisms, and increase in animal tissues to alarming concentrations. They may find entry into the drinking water. The impacts of agricultural waste include eutrophication, that is increasing the mineral levels in the water sources, mainly the lakes. Then the exposed life stage, biomagnification, presence of additional stressors, etc. Then the solid waste, the following materials could be classified as solid waste, that is mainly garbage, rubbish, sewage sludge, and other miscellaneous materials. So the garbage include the decomposable waste from households, food, canning, freezing, and meat processing operations that are not disposed of in wastewater. The rubbish means all non-decomposable waste, garden waste, cloth, paper, glass, metals, and chemicals. Then the sewage sludge, miscellaneous materials like chemicals, paints, explosives, and mining waste. And the impacts of solid waste include penetration of light is reduced, depletion of dissolved oxygen, photosynthesis, habitat destruction, etc. And the industrial effluents are major sources which cause pollution. These effluents contain a wide variety of inorganic and organic substances such as oil, grease, plastic, suspended solids, phenols, pesticides, heavy metals, and acids. Major industries are located on or near the coastline or riverside. Then the impacts of industrial waste are organic substance deplete the oxygen content. Okay. Then the inorganic substance render the water unfit for drinking and other purposes. Acids and alkalis adversely affect the growth of fish and other aquatic organisms. Dye change the color of water and affect the aquatic life. Toxic substances cause serious damage to flora and fauna. Oil and other greasy substances interfere with the self-purification mechanism of water. Then thermopollution, an increase in the optimum water temperature by industrial process may be called a thermal pollution. Maybe many industries generate their own power and use water to cool their generators. This hot water is released into the system from where it is drawn, causing a warming trend of surface waters. Impacts of thermal pollution on water include many organisms are killed instantly by the hot water, resulting into a high mortality. The egg of fish may hatch early or fail to hatch at all. It may lead to unplanned migration of aquatic plants. The macrophytic population also changes or damages. That is, the plant lives may be destroyed by this thermal pollution. However, thermal pollution can be beneficial to some species like bacteria and algae. These tend to benefit from the warm water. Spreading of infections and diseases are there. Then it decreases DO in water. It causes migration of certain aquatic species. It also increases toxicity of water. Then radioactive waste. So some of the states or the companies are producing major radioactive waste and discharging into the major water bodies. The exposure of radiation may through natural and or anthropogenic sources. Major man-made sources include healthcare, nuclear weapon testing, nuclear power plants, etc. So from the hospitals also some of the radioactive chemicals are discharged into the water bodies, and also from nuclear power plants. Then the impacts include the tissues of plants and animals contain many of the elements present in their external environment, and when certain radionuclide are introduced in the aquatic environment and when may be taken up by the organism living in that environment. The radionuclide will be taken up by the organism through the process of adsorption and incorporation. For short-lived radionuclides accumulated by fish, significant radioactive decay can occur if the introduced nuclide must reach the fish via long food chain. In addition, so that is all about the nuclear waste pollution on water. Then the Acidrain, it is also a source of water pollution. It is a well-known example of ecotoxicological effects with a clear chemical cause at the system is given by the acidification of lakes by Acidrain. So the major acid include sulfuric acid and nitric acid. It is mainly due to the anthropogenic emission of sulfur oxide, nitrogen oxide, and undergo hydrolyzation and oxidation in the troposphere and return to ground as H2SO3, H2SO4 and HNO3 respectively dissolved in raindrops. And their impacts include small species with high reproduction rates and wide dispersal power, such as phytoplankton, turned out to be most sensitive at the early stage of acidification, and other early indicators of acidic stress were provided by morphological abnormalities in benthic invertebrates. Global ecosystem functions such as primary production, nutrient cycle and respiration remained essentially unaffected by acidification of the lake water. And also due to Acidrain there may be migration of certain species. Then next is detergents. The detergents enter into the water from various sources like industry, agriculture and refuse of cities and towns. The increased personal and domestic consumption of detergents is certainly one of the main cause of pollution of surface water. Then their impacts include detergents are responsible for nuisance like foam. They affect the oxidation of dissolved matter and transfer of oxygen. They affect bacterial and algal flora and influence the permeability of soil. Surfactants detergents are implicated in decreasing the breeding ability of aquatic organisms. Phosphate in detergents can lead to freshwater algal blooms that toxins and deplete oxygen in waterways. Then the organic compounds. Artificial organic compounds are used primarily in industrial processes, pest control, pharmaceuticals, food additives, and other consumer products. Many of them escape into the environment and spread widely throughout the biosphere and can be found in many species. And the impacts of organic compounds include the dissolved organic matter, suspended organic matter, and the bottom organic matter cause a steep rise in BOD, killing of zooplankton and fish. Suspended organic matter is more hazardous to the fish as the organic matter gathers around each silt particles and the silt organic mass clogs the gills of fish, causing asphyxiation. The water polluted by organic compounds is unfit for human consumption also. So this is mainly about the impacts of toxic chemicals on aquatic ecosystems. And friends, also the marine pollution is here. We know the oceans cover over 70% of the globe. Its health, well-being of humanity and the living environment that sustains us all are inextricably linked. So there are some of the ocean acidification and climate change, polluting activities and over exploitation of marine resources have made oceans one of the earth's most threatened ecosystems. The marine pollution is also known as ocean pollution, is the spreading of harmful substances such as oil, plastic, industrial and agricultural waste and chemical particles into the ocean. And some of the causes of ocean pollution is here, that is the sewage, toxic chemicals from industries, hazardous toxic chemicals, and also the thermal pollution, land runoff. Basically the agricultural fertilizers and other chemicals, these land runoff is creating approximately 80% of marine pollution. And other man-made harmful contaminants like fertilizers, petroleum, pesticide and other form of soil contaminants. Then the large scale oil spills are also causing marine pollution. The pollution caused by ship is a huge source of ocean pollution, the most devastating effect of which is oil spill. This crude oil may last for years. Then the ocean mining is here. And the effects of ocean pollutions include effect of toxic waste on marine animals. So this can be make a cancer, failure in the reproductive system, behavioral changes and even death. Then the disruption to the cycles of coral reefs. Oil spill floats on the surface of water and prevents sunlight from reaching marine plants and affects the process of photosynthesis and depletes the oxygen content in water. So due to this less DO content in ocean, this may disrupt the lives of whales, turtles, shark, dolphin, penguin, etc. Excessive nutrients from sewage outfalls and agricultural runoff have contributed to the number of low oxygen areas known as dead zones, where most marine life cannot survive, resulting in the collapse of some ecosystems. And there are now close to 500 dead zones covering more than 245,000 kilometers square globally, equivalent to the surface of the United Kingdom. So it also leads to eutrophication like phenomenon and the toxic algal bloom, the failure in the reproductive system of sea animals, effects on food chain. And other factors of marine pollution include coastal tourism, port and harbour developments, damming of rivers, urban development and construction, mining, fisheries, aquaculture, etc. So some of the global initiatives are there in order to protect the marine environments. First is the GPA, that is Global Program of Action. GPA for the protection of marine environment from land-based activities. Then the international conventions are there, that is MARPOL Convention, that is in 1973. The MARPOL Convention covers pollution of the marine environment by ships from operational or accidental causes. Then the London Convention 1972, its objective is to promote the effective control of all sources of marine pollution. Then Greenpeace, it is an environmental NGO that is dedicated to conserving the oceans and marine life across the globe. Then how can we prevent these types of ocean pollution? So some of the preventive measures are there here. You can listen, friends. First of all, implement renewable energy sources such as wind, solar power to limit of shore drilling. Then limit agricultural pesticides and encourage organic farming and eco-friendly pesticide use. Then proper sewage treatment and exploration of eco-friendly wastewater treatment options. Cut down on the industry and manufacturing waste and contain it into landfills to avoid spillage. So cut down on the industry and manufacturing waste. And use of biotechnology, bioremediation, that is the use of specific microorganisms to metabolize and remove harmful substances. So we can use bioremediation to treat oil spills. Then at individual level, reduce carbon footprint by adopting a green lifestyle, have a global treaty on banning single-use plastics and a collaborated effort to clean up the ocean. So these are some of the global initiatives. So here's a summary, friends. Presence of toxic substances on aquatic ecosystem cause detrimental effects on aquatic ecosystems. These toxins have the capacity to destroy the complete ecosystem. The presence of these toxins in water body cause toxicity in both water and aquatic organisms. Anthropogenic action is the major factor responsible for toxicity. Among these, industrial effluent are highly dangerous. Impacts due to toxic chemicals can be reduced only by limiting the dumping of these chemicals into the aquatic ecosystems, and also by reducing their use. So the waste water by these types of water pollution can be used in various uses, because the wastewater is a resource in a circular economy. This wastewater, once treated, can be recycled and or reused for drinking purposes, in industry, in the agriculture, in the artificial recharge of aquifers, in the rehabilitation of natural ecosystems, and so on. So we know India's demand for water is growing in all sectors, given continuing economic growth and improving lifestyles. Because the climate change is there, so that major states are in trouble, that is due to drought-like conditions, severe conditions. The climate change due to human-induced interventions will affect the variability of water supply in many countries, including India. This is difficult to achieve unless water is conserved, recycled, and reused. So it is also crucial to the growth of smart cities. So recycling of wastewater is an important area, so that a lot of people get opportunities, employments in that area. So friends, it's all about our water pollution. So here hydrological cycle is here, so I will prepare in next video. So thank you guys for your kind listening. Have a nice day, guys.